my car, that old thing, has some issues. Battery light came on, and ABS light came on, and I could tell that it was about to die. So I made it to an O'Reilly's and got the battery tested. Ended up replacing the battery. Went to leave, the battery light came back on. So next thing it could be is the alternator. So I went ahead and had them test the alternator today while I was there. And of course, the alternator has failed, which caused the battery to fail. So I replaced the battery in the parking lot there, made it home. Good thing is we replaced this alternator, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it has a lifetime warranty. So I just got to take this alternator off and take it back up there, and they'll give me a new one for free. I'm about to set you guys up so y'all can watch me replace an alternator in this 2009 Camry. So I looked up a quick video briefly to just get some tips on how to do this. Pretty self-explanatory. A few things I'll need: ratchet, 10mm socket for the battery, a 19 to be able to get the belt off, and then a 14mm and a 12mm to get the bolts off for the alternator. So the first thing I'm going to start with is getting the negative cable and the battery disconnected, so that way you don't accidentally short something out. That's the first thing I'm going to do, is take the disconnect the battery. So again, I'm only going to take the negative off, just that way I don't short anything out. Don't need to take both of them off, just the negative. So I'm just going to put that off to the side, make sure it's not touching any metal anywhere, and that's the battery. Next, I'm going to start off on the alternator. So the one unfortunate thing is I just got home, so all of this is still very hot. I don't want to burn myself, but I don't know if you can see. It's going to be hard to see. Let me grab my phone. Turn this around. Down there is a little, right there, there's a 19mm tensioner. That way I can loosen up this belt. That way I can get the belt off and start working on the alternator. Just went and changed to a bigger ratchet, 1/2 inch instead of a 3/8. Give me a better reach on it. Slide that in there. And then, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you put tension on that, and that lets you slide the belt off. Ow! Everything's still hot. I'm gonna put on some gloves. So again, you want your ratchet, if it's a like on and off, you want it in the off position or tightening position. That's what bends it down and loosens up that belt. I hate taking belts off. And I misspoke. You actually want it in the on position, not the off position. Alright, so got that off. I'm just going to set the belt just up and out of the way, that way it doesn't fall off any of the other pulleys. And it actually already fell off the back one, unfortunately. I'm just going to leave that belt right there while I do the rest of this. Next, there are some connectors. Oops, that come off? Don't want to lose that, so I'm going to put that back in real fast. A little trick I learned when I used to work on semi trucks is if you have a connector that's hard to get off, you can push down and then pull your locking tab. That right there is your locking tab. But if you push down and then pull up while you're pushing on that, sometimes it makes it a little easier to get that connector off. And then we have this little, I believe it's a 10mm nut. I'm gonna take off. Yeah, 10mm off. I'm gonna take that off, and then that bolt. So I'm gonna take those and those. Both are 10mm. So again, I'm just gonna take those 10mm off. don't want to do is drop it and lose it somewhere. So, just very careful. There's nothing more frustrating than dropping a bolt or a nut after you lose it. Yeah, how's everybody else's day going? Anybody else have a battery failure today? If so, comment down below. Let me know. There's one more connector that I probably don't have to take off. I'm going to, just to get out of the way. It's right above the alternator. But just gives you more wiggle room and less of a chance to break something. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a little flathead and pry that off. That's what holds the wiring harness. So again, you just, this tab right here, you push that out, and then this just slides that way. And then get that out of the way. And now I have more wiggle room to be able to get this alternator off. The next bolt is a 14. That is right there. It's 14 millimeter. And then the last one, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to show you, but it's right under this right here, right under this little pulley. Can't really show it to you. Ow, that's hot. Can't really show it to you, but it's a 12. So 12 on the bottom, 14 on the top. So I'm going to remove those real quick. The good thing is this alternator's already been replaced once, so this one's being replaced under warranty. So these bolts aren't seized or anything because it has been replaced one time. Ow. There's my 14, and again, that's very hot because just got home. Now I'm going to switch over to my 12 millimeter and get the one bolt on the bottom that I showed you that you can't see, but right underneath this little pulley right here. So that's my two bolts out. There's the 12 millimeter that goes on the bottom, the shorter one goes on the bottom. Now I should just be able to rock this out of there. But again, it's still very hot. But there's our old alternator. I am going to run back to the store where I broke down at, go grab the new one under warranty, and I will be back to show you how to install the new one. And we are back. Got my new alternator here. I'm gonna work on throwing this on. It's gonna be the reverse process of everything we just did. So join me as we put this new alternator on. Just gonna put this in here, like so. And that should sit on there like that. I'm gonna take our 14 and 12. Don't forget the longer one goes on top, the shorter one goes on the bottom. I'm gonna put those in there by hand. So I'm just holding this alternator up just a little bit while I hand tighten the bottom bolt all the way in. Just that way, if there's any pressure on the bolt, it tightens up and you can't spin it. Alright, so I got that bottom one tightened by hand. Do the same thing with the top one. Alright, so I got both those on there. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them up. Get the bottom one tight, and I'm going to tighten the top one. Alright, so I got those two bolts tightened up. Now I'm going to work on connecting everything back up. So this is the one clip I was talking about that you don't have to take off, but it provides just a little bit of more room for the harness. So put that on. And then we also have this. So the one thing I forgot to tell you is this bracket right here. I had to transfer that from the old alternator to this alternator. That is an 8 size 8mm bolt, and got to use a wrench to get that off because of this plastic cover. But you do need to transfer this over from your old alternator to your new one so you can put this wiring harness clip back on. I got that harness connected, this harness connected. Now I just need to, oh look, this one came with a new nut. Isn't that nice of them? Just going to put that on there. Just tighten this up by hand for right now, just so I don't lose that nut. And then grab my 10mm bolt for this. All that does is just secures this harness on. And I'm going to tighten these up real fast. Hopefully your 10 didn't run away, because it seems to be a trend. Then just be careful not to over tighten this little nut. Wiggle it, doesn't move, so we are good to go. Put our little rubber thing back on, and then we also have this one last harness connector to plug in. Got that plugged in. Gonna put the rubber seal back over it so it doesn't get any dust in there. And now back to the fun part of getting the belt back on to the pulley. So I'm checking the back to make sure that it has not come loose. If it has, you need to take your fingers and guide it back on. This is the worst part of the whole job, especially when you only have one person doing it. Pulling down on the ratchet and trying to get the belt on there is definitely the hardest part, in my opinion, of this whole job, because it is not easy to get on by yourself. So I think I have it on. I'm going to double check everything. So this is where it's back on. Just double checking everything to make sure that it is all the way on. And then back here, it's hard to see. Right here is where it kept coming off when the belt didn't have any tension on it. Alright, so that's that. I'm going to go ahead and take my ratchet out of here. Now all I got to do now is just put my negative terminal back on. So it is on. I just need to tighten it, and we will be good to crank it up. We'll just give it a little test. If it moves, it's still not tight enough. It's still moving a little bit, so I'm gonna tighten this up a little bit more. Alright, so it is not moving anymore, as you can see by using my hand. So we are good to go. There we go. Here, the belt's spinning, it's still on. Yes, I know the belt's a little grooved, I need to replace that. Yes, this car does make noises, but there is a 2009 Camry that has almost 300,000 miles on it. So we use it for daily driving and saving gas, all kinds of stuff. I'm just coming inside to check, make sure the battery light was right here. Turn some lights on and the AC. But yeah, the battery light's gone now. But yeah, that's how you replace the alternator on Camry. If there's any questions, wasn't something that was clear, just let me know. I'll help you out where I can. But yeah, that's how you replace the alternator in 2009 Camry. It should work for models 2006 through 2011. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps you save some money replacing your own alternator. As always, as being a stay-at-home dad, we try to save money when we can. So if I can do stuff like this, I will. But as always, keep it real, and thanks for watching, guys.